Welcome to this Pecha Kucha presentation on digital thought leaders Shel Israel and Robert Scoble. If you haven't yet heard of or read about Scoble and Israel, now is the time. In their latest book, The Fourth Transformation, Scoble and Israel go in depth on what they predict will be the next tech paradigm. According to these guys, your life and work will undoubtedly be affected by these changes. The smartphone and all its wonders will not disappear anytime soon, but it will steadily and irreversibly decline. It will become less important to life and business, and we will start using it less and less. Mobile phones, along with social media, data, the Internet of Things, and location technologies, become the underpinnings for new engines of change. So what do they mean by new engines of change? In short, Scoble and Israel are referring to the replacement of smartphones, aka mobile computers, with VR, virtual reality, AR, augmented reality, and MR, mixed reality devices. The fourth transformation is essentially the shift from technology that you carry to technology that you wear. What were the other three transformations, you ask? Great question. The first major transformation occurred in the 70s when people began using text characters to talk directly with computers. The second was GUI, graphical user interface, which allowed users to interact with computers through graphical icons rather than text commands. And finally, in 2007, with the iPhone, we went mobile. As I mentioned, Scoble and Israel predict that computing will move from mobile phones and tablets to wearable VR, AR, and MR devices capable of doing everything your phone can do and more. While their capabilities may seem highly futuristic, several advancements in hardware, software, and artificial intelligence, AI, offer promising evidence that mass adoption is closer than we think. Now we'll discuss some major technological factors fueling the fourth transformation. Most of these tech improvements are already in use, and we'll see how they can be combined to create the next generation device. Amongst the most important are improvements in AI and machine learning, spatial computing, computing power, and hardware. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is the process of training computers to identify and classify information using deep neural networks, similar to how we learn as humans. Google and Amazon are already using AI and machine learning engines to better predict your interests and provide you with products, services, and content that truly interests you. Improvements in computing power have contributed to the development of AI and machine learning. Machine learning requires far more computing power than traditional computer learning methods. Furthermore, spatial computing is an essential component of AR and MR technologies. In order to accurately project virtual objects over the physical world, your device must understand its physical surroundings. In order to achieve mass adoption, VR, AR, and MR devices must be highly functional, comfortable to wear, and self-contained. As Scoble and Israel have mentioned, these devices will have to contain the CPU, GPU, Wi-Fi, power, wiring, sensors, cameras, 3D screens, and stereoscopic sound systems in a single hands-free device. At this point, it's probably becoming clear that this fourth transformation is not a matter of if, but a matter of when. Technology improves at an exponential rate, so it's only a matter of time before the big players in the industry overcome the last few tech barriers. But where are the markets? What are some of the real-world applications for these next-generation devices? Perhaps one of the most obvious applications for VR, AR, and MR devices is in the entertainment and gaming industries. Being immersed in the movie you're watching or game you're playing creates a whole new experience. Already, biosensing and haptic sensors allow computers to detect a person's movement and actions and accurately project the feeling of touch onto the user. Immersive 3D experiences have already been used to enhance education and training in several industries. The military and the aviation industry use VR and AR technologies to train pilots before sending them up in real jets. Regarding education, Case Western University is taking full advantage of Microsoft's HoloLens to enhance the learning experience for their medical students. Scoble and Israel have described several instances in which these new devices have allowed users to meet, communicate, and even feel a handshake, all while being several miles away from each other. Let's think about how this will affect your weekly Skype meeting, or the next major industry conference. Imagine demonstrating your company's new products before developing any prototypes. As much as shopping has already evolved over the last decade, there's plenty more to come. We've already seen AR used to enhance online shopping experiences for cosmetic products and glasses, think of Warby Parker. But there is so much more potential. Virtual test drives and open house events are just a couple of the seemingly endless uses for these devices in shopping. Have you ever really wanted to go somewhere but just couldn't afford it or couldn't find the time? Welcome to virtual tourism. With the help of haptic sensors, you will literally be able to feel the heat of the Caribbean sun from your living room in Canada. While the early stages of this will be focused on 3D sightseeing tours, more immersive experiences will surely arise. As I've mentioned, there are still several technological barriers to mass adoption of VR, AR, and MR devices. The biggest include haptic sensors, visuals, audio, and tracking. Existing technology, however, has always been a temporary barrier to better technology. The bigger concerns rest in safety, security, and privacy. The list of potential security and ethical issues with VR, AR, and MR devices can go on forever. From cybercrime to subliminal marketing to desensitization, users must be aware of the real-world risks. While there are no clear answers to these issues, it will be important for major players in the industry to address them proactively in order for mass adoption to occur. To wrap things up, I'd like to discuss how these new technologies might influence my industry: language translation and localization. To start, machine learning poses an inevitable threat to the industry. Machine translation is steadily improving and will eventually replace the human translator. However, there is still hope. VR, AR, and MR technologies create a whole new realm of possibilities. Live interpreters will no longer have to travel to meetings or conferences. Combining machine translation engines with human translators will boost efficiency while maintaining accuracy, and improving collaboration between translators will drastically reduce costs on big projects. I find this tech trend to be incredibly exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the industry develops. Regardless of your job or industry, you will most likely be affected by this fourth transformation in some way or another. I recommend you listen to Shel and Robert Scoble. I think they're onto something.